What's going on, guys? So I'm back with some more NBA 2K17 news. But before I get into that, it's going to be mostly about my player, or my career, I should say. But first, let's look at this new trailer that came out. It's all about the shoes, man. All about the kicks. So I'm going to go ahead and check that out, man. So y'all can check it out while I check it out. And after that, we're going to be talking about some of the new things that have been added to my career. You know, one of the senior producers at 2K, Ben Bishop, dropped an article about the new Mycareer series and all the details and all the good stuff that it has to offer. But first, let's check out this trailer about the shoes, and then we will go ahead and talk about that and cover the new news for Mycareer. So let's go ahead and check this trailer out. All right, okay. So, you know, obviously shoes is a very important part of the game. You're a sneakerhead. I'm not much of a sneakerhead, but I know my sneakers. You know, I like rocking different pair of sneakers. But you know, this is basically just showing, especially being a basketball player, man, kind of like been kind of superstitious with my shoes, man. Depending on how the shoe felt, how it fit, you know, that would kind of mess with my mind. Like, I would really think about it, because if the shoe was comfortable and, you know, it's a nice pair of shoes to play in, I'd have much more fun playing than if I didn't like the pair of shoes, or kind of complain about the comfort, or even sometimes the brand. But it's definitely cool seeing this, man. They got a new way they're doing the shoes. It's completely 3D, so that's gonna be tough, man. As you guys see, they're bringing it back with the Chuck Taylors, and you guys could obviously tell that, you know, they're bringing the old school the view back. So how it would look back in time, like the whole scenery, as far as the TV landscape, that's how it's gonna look in the game, which is dope too. Shaq and Penny. This is cool, man. They have a lot of a wide variety of shoes, man. All sorts of colors. They even got the Yeezys. They got, y'all see the old Dadas? Like, back in when I was in middle school, man, the Dadas were like one of the shoes everybody talked about. So that trailer right there was kind of dope, man. I'll continue playing it over while I talk about the my career, my player news. But that was definitely cool checking it out. It's dope to see that they really taken a first look and really, you know, showing the importance of shoes, man. Basketball is not all about shoes, but shoes is a very important part of the game, man. As you guys see, players always rocking different kicks. You know, Nick Young with the Yeezys, things like that, man. That just show it's part of the culture of basketball. So I'm glad they're taking initiative with that. So one of the first things we're gonna be talking about is the player creation. Basically, I kind of went over this a little bit in my previous talk about the new Mycareer stuff, but you know, basically, it's similar to 2K16, as like you're gonna have a cap depending on your position and skills. But I like the fact that this year, you know, before you even play a game, you pick, you know, obviously your position, but you pick your playing style. So if you're a big man, you're either gonna be a defensive, like athletic big man, or you're gonna be a pick and pop type of player, or like a backup, you know, post player. So each, you know, you really get to pick, you know, your type of skill set, and that's gonna kind of translate into the skills you develop going through your career. So that is definitely dope. For point guards, you know, obviously there's either a scoring point guard, athletic, a defensive. So I'm still not sure which one I want to be yet, but it's definitely gonna be cool to see how that plays out towards the storyline and how it affects your career going forward. What I thought about this year, what I'm going to do, I'm gonna have, you know, obviously my career, which is gonna be more like suitable to me, like my height and weight and everything like that, and probably shooting skills and things like that. But my park player, I thought about it, gave some thought, man. I'm definitely gonna make him a taller shooting guard, maybe like 6'6", 6'7", just so that way it'd be more fun as far as, you know, having park highlights and things like that, and that way it separates my player from the park. You know, if it's the same player all the time, the 6'3" point guard in park and my player, you're kind of just gonna get used to seeing the same player. But here, switching up with the height of my player and the skills, I think is gonna make a huge difference between my career and my park player. So I thought that was something cool I wanted to share with you guys, just to let you know. So if you do see it in 2K17, you know why I did it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But let's go ahead and look over some of the other news in my career. And now talking about the story mode, man. This year, instead of doing the whole freaking and vibing, you know, kid from New York making it to the big leagues, blah blah blah, this year is really going to be the importance of kind of growing together. Like actually growing together. You're gonna be teamed up with a player who's gonna be in your draft class. He's gonna be, he's gonna be in your team. He's gonna be a teammate. Basically, you guys are like best friends. You guys, came into the league together. So it's kind of like the brotherhood with the whole LeBron, Carmelo, D Wade thing. And I think this is a cool idea. The actual character is gonna be played by Michael B. Jordan. You guys probably heard of him in Creed. He's in the Kobe Bryant commercial for Apple. So they're still sticking to the kind of the story script, the movie script kind of, but I feel like this time it's gonna be suited towards your player and how your storyline, moves forward. So that way, if you're a first overall or top 10 pick, a lottery pick, basically your storyline is gonna be a lot different than if you're drafted in the second round. And yes, this year you can be drafted in the second round. So everybody's not gonna be drafted lottery, top 20, things like that. Depending on how you play in college will determine, obviously, what round you go in, how early you get drafted, how late you get drafted. So I definitely like that part. I like the fact that they have that just because now, that whole storyline of guys like Tony Parker, Gilbert Arenas, being drafted late, Draymond Green being drafted late in the draft, second round. Those guys turned out to be superstar, future Hall of Famers. Well, except for Gilbert, but you know what I'm talking about. But basically, it just makes the story mode a wide variety, man. You don't have to be a superstar player. You could be a mediocre player, have a long career in the NBA, be a supporting player, and that's something that I don't think has ever been in the 2K My Player series. So I really like that aspect of the game. Let's see what else they got cooking up. So we know about Michael B. Jordan playing as Justice, but there is another character who's kind of like the complete opposite of you and Justice. So his name is going to be Denver Levens. And this guy's basically played overseas in the D League, and he's coming into the team trying to prove himself. He's already learned all about professional basketball, so he's not, coming in here naive. Like, he knows it's a business, he knows it's a job. So that kind of adds a different side to my player. Apparently, he's like a funny guy. He's like one of those teammates that everybody likes hanging out with, and obviously, he's not the best player on the team, so it kind of just adds a different aspect to it overall. And I like that idea, man. I like the fact that you are not only coming in by yourself, but you're coming in with other people who experience, the whole lifestyle of basketball in a different situation. Being undrafted, as in the guy Denver Levens, him not being drafted, going to the D League, playing overseas. And, of course, Justice, who you guys are coming in together pretty much as the draft picks of that team that you're drafted to. So I think that's a pretty good facet of the game to add, just to show all the different sides of basketball. Because the story's not always going to be, you play in high school, then you go to college and you get drafted, and then you're just this great basketball player. It's not always like that. They're thinking broad as far as, the real NBA experience, man. It's not always just one road. There's multiple roads. So I like that idea. I like how they added that. Other characters you're going to be seeing in this Mycareer series, of course, you're going to have an agent, assistant coach, team trainer. You will have a beat reporter. Apparently, you have a girlfriend, again, just like last year, and a barber. So basically, they're trying to add, relationships, man. Trying to incorporate people that are going to affect certain decisions that you make off the court. I think that's a huge addition. Definitely going to be cool to see what your barber has to say about you either stinking up the joint and going 0 for 10, or you having a 40 and 30 point game. If they do incorporate that, and that's something that's part of the game, that'd be really cool. Obviously, there has to be a reason why your barber is one of the guys in the story mode. So that's going to be cool to see how that plays out. Obviously, your beat writer. If you guys watch ESPN First Take, you see how Stephen A. Stephen A. is always talking about his relationships with certain NBA players because he's worked for that team or in that city. So that's going to be cool that they're going to have a beat writer, somebody that's going to be focused on you, what you do, how you prepare, and what you think about the team and the city and your career moving forward. Another addition they've added, which I wasn't a big fan of this, but obviously it's an option. It's not something you have to do. But I did talk about Michael B. Jordan playing Justice, and literally you guys are gonna be like best friends coming into this because you're gonna get drafted by the same team. And when you play on the court together, you guys know about Klay Thompson, obviously now a few years ago, Russell and KD, how they're like the 1 and 2, and they're always playing off of each other. They added this into the game where you could add, if you and Justice, they're gonna call him, are on the court at the same time. Basically, you could take control of Justice. You could tell him when to shoot. You could control him for a possession, get an ISO one-on-one score with him. I wasn't a big fan of this because I feel like this is my career, my player. I don't want to really control anybody else, but it is an option. You don't have to do it, but if you do want to do it, you can. So that's definitely. I thought it was interesting, but like I said, it's just focusing on the point of being, having that 1-2 combo, or just the fact that having a relationship, a player that, your off-court relationship affects how you play on the court. And that's a cool addition to add, man. A lot of people are probably going to enjoy that, having somebody else to control while on the court. But for me personally, the whole point of me playing my career, my player, is to control my player. So I won't be doing that much, if at all. But for those that do want to do it, it's in the game. It's going to be cool to check out, and it'll definitely help as far as maybe winning or helping you get your dimes up or anything like that. So that's not a bad idea at all. But just for the way I like to play it, I won't really be messing with that. And now this year, the practice will always be open. So the court is always open. If you go there early, you'll probably be the only player on the court. But if you go there later in the day, that's when the coaching staff and the other players are there as well. So they're really taking this practice thing seriously. You do have this thing called doing work meter, where basically if you're doing work not just in practice but on your own court and things like that, the meter will eventually go up. The meter will keep going up, and depending on that will be how fast you can level up your attributes. So instead of just having the gym rat badge like in 2K16, it's all 1 meter, and it's always going up as long as you're using your my player in practices and shooting around and things like that. So I think that's a cool way for real to have people, actually take their my players seriously and shooting with them and practicing and trying to get their overall playing style together. And I think it's a cool way to really reward the people that take time to really focus on the players' skills and shooting form and things like that, and actually practice with them. So that's a good way to reward guys that really put work into the game and allowing them to reach a higher overall by putting in that work. So that's a really cool new addition. So now they do have, just like last year, they have text messages, but this time it's a little more like hands-on. So basically you could text back, if you guys are playing the Timberwolves and Karl Anthony Towns is in town, he will text you, be like, yo, are you home, trying to come over to your court, shoot around, blah, blah, blah. Which is cool. I don't know if it's just going to be superstar players or players you develop relationships with around the league, but that's a cool new addition, man. Like I said, this year's 2K is focusing more on relationships and building friendships and bonds. So I like that. I think that's really cool. It'll definitely help out the game. Another part of the text messaging is the endorsements. This time, like in real life, when players get drafted, like Ben Simmons got drafted #1. A week or two later, he signed a deal with Nike. So this year, depending on how high you get drafted, will be how fast endorsers will come to you, offering you either shoe deals. Like you get a shoe deal right out of college, which I think is cool. And obviously, depending on how good you are, you'll get better contracts. So, and another thing I thought was cool was that if you're a shooter, if the play style, if the way you play is more of a guy that's like Steph Curry, where you just shoot shots, you're a scorer, things like that, he'll actually reach out to you and try to get you to sign with Under Armour. So, like I said, they're trying to get the star players involved. I don't know how involved the other lower tier players are going to be, but they're trying to get the star players involved. Trying to have those guys influence you on decisions that you're going to make. I heard they're going to have Kobe in there also. Maybe even for Nike, maybe Kobe is going to be the guy that says, look, man, you look like you're going to be a special player. I told Nike to offer you or look to add you into this Nike team, and that also will be really cool. Another thing I heard is that you get a tier of contracts, so a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 or something like that. And basically, if you're tier 1, which is like, I guess, the low, you can say the low, contract, I guess you could say, you just get merch and shoes. And you might not even be available to get all the shoes. You might just get 1 or 2 pair of shoes. So like I said, man, it's really focusing on how you play, how big of like a Showtime athlete or Showtime player you are, and at the end of the day, that's going to be how you get rewarded. So you can still get endorsements by being a mediocre player, but you're not going to get your own shoes or get all the Nikes you want, and plus more VC on top of that, unless you're that superstar player. Another thing which is cool is that they actually have televised games. So obviously your televised games are viewed by more people, so basically you're more likely to get a huge boost in endorsements if you dunk on LeBron in the fourth quarter on a televised game than if you were to dunk on, I don't know, let's say a rookie player while your team's up 20 points, it's 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and you dunk on a rookie or even a veteran player, but they're not a household name. I definitely like all the new additions they added, man. You guys see I posted some screenshots while I was talking. You see the player outside of practice in the training room. So it's really like hands-on. It's really showing. Last year it kind of showed like the off-court emotional side of the NBA. I guess you could say the NBA lifestyle. This time is really showing the hands-on, like the real part. Being in the training room. Outside of practice, leaving practice. Talking with your teammates, things like that. So I like how they want to show that side of the NBA. And it's definitely going to be exciting, man. Mycareer is going to be dope. I did drop the Mycareer trailer yesterday. I hope you guys did like that. Been getting a lot of good readings from that. And, of course, if you haven't seen it already, I'll put the link in the description. So far, this is all the news I have so far, NBA 2K17. But we're only a few weeks away, man. So it's definitely winding down, man. The clock is ticking. But I hope you guys did enjoy this episode, man. More 2K news coming out soon. As soon as it come out. And, of course, I hope you guys do like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And you already know, man, I'm signing out.
Look, I got $1 million schemes and $1 billion flows, $1 million schemes and $1 billion. I got $1 million schemes and $1 billion flows. I put my heart in this work, 'cause that's just all that I know. Look.